right, welcome to Top 5 Vinyl. Today I'm here with Desi. How's it going, Desi?
Good, good.
So this show basically is to show vinyl lovers some love. So I understand that you have some vinyl in your collection.
I
So
got a little bit, a little bit.
okay, now let me start off by asking you, do you remember the first vinyl record that you ever bought?
No, I think the collection I have is a mix of sort of what's been passed down,
Okay.
and what I've bought on my own. So, but it's kind of all mixed together. I have no idea where it started.
Now passed down from who?
My father had a pretty decent sized vinyl record collection when we grew up.
Okay.
So we've always just had it around, and he gave me a lot of those a couple years ago, and then I've added my own collection to it, and so
Right.
that's sort of where it started from his collection.
Now growing up, do you remember like who he was listening to? Like what was his musical taste?
A lot of 60s,
Okay.
lot of Motown stacks,
Mm,
a lot of stuff from that era.
okay.
Um, even today, that's pretty much what he listens to.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
The last vinyl record that you bought, do you remember where you got it from?
Amazon. In the
Easy.
top five, so I don't want to say it
Right.
because it's in the top five. But yeah, the
Okay.
last I bought off Amazon.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so when you're listening to vinyl, like you turn the volume all the way up to 10 or like what's your thing? Like when you listen to music?
So I connected to the surround sound, and we'll jump around a lot. So there
Mhm.
might be two or three things on one album that I want to listen to.
Right.
I'll jump over to a different album that's a completely different genre, but
Okay.
it's different. When
Mhm.
you hear the record, the scratches, all that
Mhm.
adds this authenticity that you don't get from an iTunes or a Spotify. Like that stuff is fine if you're in the car, or whatever, but
Right.
when you're home and you've got it hooked up to the surround sound, I like to hear it in the most authentic way.
Mhm.
I think vinyl does that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to point out real quick, I love the posters behind you. I see a Predator poster.
Sure. Predator over
I see
here,
Jurassic Park.
over here,
What
yeah.
do we have hiding behind your shoulders over here? What else do we have?
Over the shoulder is the Beekeeper. I know you love that one.
Loved it.
And over the shoulder is Kiss the Girls.
Ah,
So just a
okay.
couple of my favorites.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You'll see a theme when we go through these top five, I'm sure.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so basically, yeah. So I'm gonna ask you, not right now specifically, but I'm gonna ask you to show me your fifth album, then your
Okay.
four, three, two, one. So as far as you like having vinyl, was it just your dad and you, or was it somebody else in the family that was like into vinyls, or?
I mean, I think it was just it was what we listened to growing up.
Mm,
My parents had the big stereo in the living room,
mm,
with the vinyl records and a bunch of 45s underneath it, behind the
exactly.
glass door,
Yep,
all
I
that,
know.
and just everybody just kind of listened to it.
Mm,
It was what where you got your music from, between
mm.
that and the radio, and trying to record songs off the radio on a little cassette tape
Huh,
from time to
right.
time, or
Hmm.
trying to create your own mixtape from individual vinyls. That
Absolutely.
was what you grew up on back then.
Right.
So yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right, cool. So I'm gonna ask you right now, show me your
Okay.
number five. You have a lot of vinyls in your collection. Show me your fifth, your number five.
So my number five, this is will not be a surprise to you, is a movie soundtrack,
Okay.
uh, from a movie from 1971 called Vanishing Point.
Mm.
This is the movie itself is a cult classic now.
Hmm.
It was not very popular when it came out. It was part of um, at the drive-in. They show two movies. It was always the second movie. Pretty low budget, and it's about this guy who is driving from point A to point B, and he's trying to beat his record, and he's kind of hyped up on drugs and uppers, and the star of the movie is the car. There's a
Mm.
1971 Dodge Challenger that the movie is really known for, and this is the
Oh,
original.
no.
This is the original album, so it's falling apart here.
Mm.
But it's really just about this guy who is trying to evade the police. He's got this DJ that he listens to, played by Cleavon Little,
Okay.
and the DJ is playing songs throughout the movie that act as a guide for
Mm.
him to help evade the police.
Okay.
And one of the things I love about this soundtrack is it's different. There's a little bit of everything here. So you've got country, you've got gospel. Big Mama Thornton
Mm.
is on here.
Okay.
Um, one of the climactic scenes at the end is Kim Carnes. So
Mm.
it's got a really good mixture of all kinds of different genres,
Hmm.
and it becomes a character in the movie. So you have the main character played by Barry Newman. The car is the star of the movie, and then the soundtrack is really the other main character. So
Okay.
this is number 5 in my collection, Vanishing Point, 1971.
Okay. And one thing I love about vinyl is the artwork. That when you
Yeah.
flipped it open, that's a great shot of the car.
Yeah, and I mean, this really, what I like about this whole shot on the inside, this is what the movie's about.
Mm.
This is really reflective of it's a guy, it's a car, he's a loner, and he's driving. I mean, the whole 90 minutes is him just driving with a soundtrack playing over it, and he's trying to evade the police. And it's got some other themes in it because it's early 70s, and
Hmm.
you see that come out through um, the DJ John Amos, actually from
Hmm.
Good Times.
Yeah.
This is one of, if I'm not mistaken, his first movie.
Hmm.
If not his first, it's one of his first movies
Okay.
that he ever made. So he's in this as well. It's just a great soundtrack. It's got
Okay.
rock, it's got country, it's got gospel, and it fits. So
Hmm.
it fits the mood for what's happening at that time in the movie.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good one. I like that. Okay.
It's my number 5.
All right. Now let's take a look at number four. What do you have for number four?
All right, so number 4 is just I think a classic movie, and a soundtrack that is just I think it's timeless. It's by Ennio Morricone, and it's Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful
Mm.
Eight.
Yeah, that soundtrack.
So
I love it.
I mean, so he won an Academy Award off of this, the composer.
Hmm.
He's been around a long time. He did a lot of the Clint Eastwood Westerns back in the day. He did the soundtrack for Exorcist 2.
Mm.
He did John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay.
And one of the things about Hateful Eight, he actually used some of the instrumental that he developed for The Thing that they
Mm.
didn't use in the movie.
Mm.
He inserted them into this soundtrack. But this vinyl is just, if you know the movie,
Yeah.
you know the soundtrack is just, it's brilliant
Yeah. I
from the
love that
very opening
soundtrack.
theme.
Yeah. How's the artwork for this one looking? Oh, wow.
Artwork is just so. I mean, it's got a
Ah,
trifold out here.
okay.
Uh, I know there's more than one version of the vinyl. So if you're gonna get the vinyl, get get the real one. Get the
Yeah.
one, because there's another one that's a smaller version. This has got 2 albums. It's got the trifold, the pictures, the level of detail. On the inside over here, I mean, I don't know if you can see, you got the blood splatter. You might
Hmm.
be able to see some of the reflection. Um, Inside, it also comes with a movie poster.
Hmm.
And behind the third fold here, I don't know if you can see this, but there's actually a picture book.
Huh. Wow.
So it's a pretty stacked
Detailed.
album.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and I what I love about this one is as you're watching the movie, um, the music really pushes each storyline forward.
Hmm.
I mean, you begin to identify the soundtrack with specific scenes and
Hmm.
characters and
Hmm.
dialogue in the movie.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is, I think, a brilliant soundtrack.
I agree 1,000%. All right. So that's your number four. Let's take a look at
Number
number
4.
three.
Oh, number 3. All right, so
See
another
you
movie
smiling.
soundtrack.
Before you start, I see you
Yeah.
smiling.
I mean, this is just so I'm gonna when I show you, you'll know why I'm smiling.
Okay.
So,
Ah, okay.
my
This
favorite
is
movie
this
of
is your
all
movie.
time,
Yeah. Okay.
Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. This soundtrack from the opening shot when she's in the airport,
Mm-hmm.
across 110th Street starts to play Bobby Womack.
Mm-hmm.
It hooks you.
Mm-hmm.
It hooks
Mm-hmm.
you. And the thing about this soundtrack, like I mentioned about Vanishing Point, is that it's got a lot of different artists on it. So
Mm-hmm.
you go from Bobby Womack on here to Johnny Cash
Mm-hmm.
to Minnie Riperton. It is just the Delphonics. I mean, it really is a treat to listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're watching the movie or outside of the movie, you associate these songs with those particular scenes in the movie. It stays with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that I mean, the artwork here is simplistic, just like the original movie poster from
Hmm.
'97.
Hmm.
I love that they didn't change it. They didn't try to do anything fancier or upgrade it or any. I mean, it's reflective of the movie.
Okay. So you bought
Uh,
this like after the movie came out, like years
oh yeah,
after?
I would say I bought this. I probably bought this about 5 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
one of the more recent ones, and I like that the album itself is this like
I like the color.
neat
That's nice.
yellow. Yeah, I mean,
That's
just
nice.
it's subtle. But I think this is one of the best soundtracks. Certainly one of my favorite soundtracks to my favorite movie, Jackie
Hmm.
Brown,
Okay.
#3.
Number three. Now let's take a look
Yeah.
at your number two.
All right, #2. So this may not fit the movie theme, but this came out in 1985. I was 6,
Hmm.
uh, and just
Mm.
fell in love with
Mm.
Tina Turner because of this.
Mm.
She was, I think, 44 when this album came out. And this wasn't her first solo album, but it was her first solo album that had a #1 hit,
Okay.
which was What's Love Got to Do with It?
Okay.
And they played that endlessly,
Yeah.
right, on the
Yeah.
radio. And the other thing about this particular album, that wasn't the only hit she got off of this album. So this is the album that has What's Love Got to Do with It, I Can't Stand the Rain, Better Be Good to Me, Let's Stay Together, which was,
Hmm.
her version of the Al Green song,
Hmm.
and Private Dancer. And
Okay.
this took her from the old days of Ike and Tina to turning her
Solo.
into just a
Yeah.
megastar
Hmm.
of Tina Turner. The album, the artwork is classic.
Hmm.
She talked a lot about just her legs and her performance, and everybody knows Tina
Hmm.
for the music and her ability. And
Hmm.
this is my top #2 in the top five for me.
Now, do you remember
Love
how
Tina
long?
Turner.
Do you remember how long you've had this one for?
This one actually I think is one that was passed down.
Okay.
So I didn't buy this one. This was one that was in my father's collection.
Hmm.
Again,
Yeah.
when this came out, we would listen to it on the
Hmm.
record player, and yeah, I mean, I think this is a classic album.
Yeah. Okay.
Classic
All right.
album. Yeah.
Now on to the grand finale. Number
All
one. What do we have for
right.
number one?
All right. So my #1 is a little bit unique.
Okay.
This just came out last year.
Hmm.
Uh, will not be a surprise to you. Last year was the 60th anniversary of James Bond.
Yes.
And so the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra recorded Bond 25, which is a new album, and it's all 25 of the
Oh wow.
Bond theme songs. But what's different about this album is it's all instrumental and it's all new arrangements.
Hmm.
So it's like listening to all these classic Bond songs for the first time
Hmm.
because all the arrangements are different. Some are pretty close to the original. Like when you hear this version of Goldfinger,
Hmm.
you will recognize it. They'd stay pretty true to the Shirley Bassey song, but when they do Duran Duran's "A View to a Kill," very different version.
Hmm.
And I fell in love with this when I started to listen to it. Each song on here, it's like being reintroduced to
Okay.
25 classics.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No, on the
yeah. No,
back. What's the artwork on the back?
so
Thing?
nothing. It's just
Okay.
a track list, but the artwork is really
Yeah, that's great.
captured on the inside with the original movie posters from
Hmm.
all 25 films.
Okay.
So that is definitely my #1. I
Hmm.
think this is and because it's instrumental and it's unique and it's different.
Hmm.
So it's not the original songs, but it's all new arrangements of those songs. And I love this album.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I just
So
want to thank you for sharing your top five of vinyl records with
sure.
me.
Thank you for having me. I
Oh,
appreciate
yeah,
it.
no problem, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good.
Have a
Take
good
care.
one. Oh yeah.
All right.